Come through, queen. I wanna see ya. Come through, queen.
Hi, everyone. It's Dan.
And Brendan.
And this is Come Through Queen. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Daniel.
So, you know what's going on? We've got a bunch of official and unofficial casting news with the Housewives.
I know. I feel like we as fans have been in a Housewives desert for a bit, but we finally have a little bit of an oasis.
A drop of water to quench our thirst.
Exactly.
So, let's start with official first.
Sure.
Which is interesting. Because I bet you Bravo was like, we got to say something. We've been dragging this out forever.
Exactly.
So here's the tea. This is from Dave Quinn at People Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
The Real Housewives of Atlanta finally has its cast set for season 16. The long-running series has undergone a major cast shakeup with just 2 stars from last season, Kenya Moore and Drew Sidora, returning as housewives when production picks up again this month. Joining them will be Portia Williams, who's coming back to the show after a 2-season absence and amid a messy divorce from estranged husband Simon Guobadia.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in the cast? On Tuesday, May 14th, Bravo released the other names. They include author, businesswoman, and podcast host Brittany Eady, restaurateur and Food Network alumni Kelly Farrell,
Okay.
and wife of NBA great Charles Oakley, Angela Oakley. Shamia Morton Mwangi, who has appeared on the show as a guest and friend role dating back to season 5, has been upgraded to a full-time housewife.
Which, we'll get into it, but major.
In a friend role will be a familiar face of the franchise, supermodel Cynthia Bailey, who was a housewife from seasons 3 through 13. Production on season 15 begins this month, and the series premiere is set for 2025.
Which, with timing, makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, they go long.
Yeah.
They go long.
Okay.
I mean, they typically film a really long time.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Shamia.
That's your headline news.
I am crying.
Yeah. I just wonder, how we got here.
I feel like we have talked so much in the past about Shamia specifically and how she kind of wanted to remain more private.
Well, I think that was on request of her husband.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that.
It's also weird that she's joining full-time while Candy leaves.
Yeah.
Because she was Candy's friend and Portia's friend.
Exactly.
So that's a little weird.
That's interesting. Obviously, Cynthia returning as a friend.
I'm really excited for this. And I think it was Sam who might have pointed out to me. He said, oh, you're excited for this. Interesting. I remember somebody was obsessed with hating her during her last season and the wedding season. And I was like, yeah, that would be me.
You were really mad about the Cynthia wedding stuff, which I get. I also think Cynthia has done so much different stuff in the time since that has made us re-fall in love with her. I think Celebrity Big Brother was a big part of that. Also, her coming on Beverly Hills and just kind of being in the background was interesting and exciting. She's also a regular on Jeff Lewis Live.
Important for you.
She was on Hollywood House Lift.
She was also on Ultimate Girls Trip after her last full-time season of Housewives.
Yes. I will say, one thing that is bringing me a little bit of hope as well is the prospect that if Cynthia's just a friend in Atlanta, she can still make appearances on Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay. So truly bi-coastal.
I think that would be cool and kind of true to, since it sounds like we're not getting a Ultimate Girls Trip again anytime soon.
Yeah.
Let's keep the lore and the back and forth alive.
Okay. We already knew about Portia returning. We already knew about Kenya returning. The Drew return is a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
I never did watch that last reunion part. So now I feel I kind of have to since she's still part of the canon.
The one where she sang?
Yes.
That is so fun. You were gone.
I was in Italy, I believe.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And then another big headline of this is Sheree fired again.
I'm fine with it, I think.
As a huge Sheree fan, I'm also okay with it.
But we always know she could always come back.
She is somebody who, like, I know will find her way back into our hearts
And minds.
and minds soon.
Okay, I don't know enough about the gals, the new 3, but it feels to me like akin to Aviva, Heather, Carol moment.
Oh my God.
Doesn't it feel akin?
Yes, and you know how much that gets me going.
I wonder, like, okay, they've done full blown reboot to RHONJ now.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're now being like, oh, maybe we should like go back and test the waters of what a half reboot looks like.
Yeah, the photos. There's like this specific group of photos of when, before we like really truly met Carol, Aviva, and Heather, like, but like they were being photographed about town.
I know what you're saying.
There's like a photo that's like the best way to like compare it to is it looks very much like the Paris, Brittany, Lindsay Lohan in the car photo.
3 sisters.
And like we need to get these new women in a car somewhere to get us excited.
Get us excited. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. I'm into that.
Okay. Do you want to move over before
I do want to give a shout out to, in honor of this Atlanta news, we do have a Patreon bonus episode.
Yes.
Which is, I believe we declared this as Kenya Moore's most iconic moment, Gone with the Wind Fabulous.
Yes.
That very episode, we are doing a vintage recap over on Patreon.
Yes. Thank you. Love to promote the Patreon.
Love to.
So we are going from like official reported by Bravo News to other news for Beverly Hills that's not like been confirmed by Bravo.
Yeah. I mean, Bravo like tweeted the cast to Atlanta.
Yeah.
This has none of the Bible sources confirming this cast yet.
But I think like it's just worth mentioning to keep us excited.
Yeah.
So Kyle Richards, Dorit Kemsley, Erica Jane, Garcelle Bouvier, and Sutton Strack are all back for season 14 of Beverly Hills. They will be joined by Kathy Hilton, who is returning as a friend of the Housewives after taking a hiatus last season.
Despite coming to the reunion.
Yes. Also in the mix will be 2 new Housewives, soap star Eva LaRue and Bozoma St. John, who is like huge in the tech world. And then Jennifer Tilly and Amanda de
Cadenet?
Yes.
Cadenet?
Yes. Are expected to round out the cast as friends of the Housewives.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about here. Number 1 for me is Dorit managed to get her diamond.
Yeah.
And I want to just point out Dorit right now is like posting memes about the separation.
That's so interesting.
In her Instagram story. She's like commenting on people commenting in the comment section.
Also, like Lisa Rinna is like supporting Dorit in the comments, but then posting like photos of herself and Harry being like, "We're still together."
I know. It's a lot of strangeness going on.
Also, we can maybe get to it, but like Lisa Vanderpump and Gordon Ramsay's like chaotic Watch What Happens Live episode.
So they've been doing like press together. Is there a reason they're doing press together?
They have a show.
Oh, what's the show?
It's like a show about like food stars, and they're like the two. I could mostly compare it to like I haven't seen the show, but like they're basically like in Shark Tank. They are the sharks, but like for like food.
Where does this air?
I think Fox.
I would watch this.
Yeah, and I think it's based on it's all wrapped up in the Vegas of it all because whatever company that like Lisa's properties in Vegas are in are also Gordon's like properties. His are in those places.
I mean, I just like the concept of what you are describing it as.
Yeah.
But also just their media tour is like, oh, these two, they have it. They have star quality.
Yeah, and I also think it's very fun that Gordon is just like dragging Lisa, being like, oh, like my restaurants are still open.
Okay, so that's okay. Then like they're like teasing that Kyle's not coming back, but like Kyle's coming back. Okay.
Oh,
great.
totally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Erica, Garcelle, Sutton, all that's like pretty obvious they were going to return. Kathy Hilton returning is interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess she's returning because like she and Kyle are in a good place, but it's like, have we learned nothing?
Yeah.
You get in a bad place by doing this.
Exactly. But I think with like, so I don't really know much about Amanda or Eva, but like knowing what I know about like Bozoma and Jennifer, they are like enough of like power players that I think could like make it interesting
for Kathy.
Because like Jennifer has so much money.
Really?
You know that she was married to the guy, like one of the like Simpsons like creators.
Was married and now is not.
But no, I think he died.
Huh. Okay.
And she gets all of his money, basically.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's like Matt Gehring or whatever. I think there was like another guy in the mix.
Phil Lack?
I think so.
But it says he's just a professional poker player. Oh, spouse Sam Simon. Divorced. Simpsons. Okay, she divorced him in 1991.
I know, but I think if he's passed, then I think like for some reason she...
Oh yeah, he died in 2015.
I think his estate went to her.
He remarried in 2000 and divorced in 2000. Mm-hmm. And it does not appear he had kids, so maybe he left money to her? I
think he did. I think I heard her explain it on maybe Jeff Lewis Live.
Oh, of course. You get all your news. Okay. Wow, that's very interesting.
I hope that's correct information. I think it is based in the truth.
Yeah, you're not like saying it confidently. You're saying it with a question mark.
Yeah, like I know she has a lot of money, and I think it's specifically because of her relationship with her former spouse.
Okay, and then all from her poker winnings as well.
Yeah.
If you've never seen her on Watch What Happens Live, she is a wild one.
She is.
So that'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I am as well. Do you want to get to our shows?
Yes, let's get to our shows.
Cool.
Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay, so I would say it remains the Jen Fessler show. It's like the girls are always talking about Jen Fessler. If Jen Fessler's not on the screen, you're wondering, where is Jen Fessler?
The fact that she does not hold a tomato is beyond me.
It feels as though she has a photo from last year as a friend of. So like, I wonder if they just don't have a shot of her, like, that they could use with the other women.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they would have to like shoot her for the title cards that they refuse to reshoot after like 5 years.
My favorite thing is like the fans getting so mad about that specific title card.
Yeah.
Because it actually like it does look so old fashioned. And the thing about this one is that they like update only certain women year to year.
Well, like if you go back and look at like the first iteration of this title card, like we still have Marge and pigtails.
And like we had Marge and pigtails up until like maybe like last year.
no, they did replace her. They did replace her with her fresh look, but Teresa is still Teresa from 5 years ago.
Because she never goes out of style.
Okay, so here are some hot ticket items. Number one, we have, and I don't love this, Danielle Cabral taking the daughter to modeling shoots. It's like not what I'm loving to see, especially like in the like the age of like all the documentaries coming out and stuff. It's like I would never really want to expose my children to like the entertainment industry.
Oh, never ever.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And then we're getting an update on the status of her relationship with like, she's not talking to the dad because the dad didn't support her when she sent the gift to the brother when the brother was expecting a baby.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also just like these people and their families. It's like, can't we all just like get along?
Much like the Marco Gorgas.
Yeah. What is happening in the tri-state area? I am sorry.
Should we get to the Marco Gorgas?
Yes.
I gotta say, I want to be with this family.
Yeah, of course.
As much as I may hug, I also want to hug these people too.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Donna Marco main cast.
Donna Marco main cast. Donna Marco, great woman, great grandmother.
Yes, I believe. Yes.
No, she was like, I think the great granddaughter was there at this event.
Yeah.
And we're also fighting for gay rights.
Always.
A cousin is getting married, and Joey Gorga
Is a fish.
is officiating. Now, I do love that, like, okay, we are celebrating and fighting for gay rights, but, like, we can't shake some light homophobia.
The thing about Jersey from kind of inception is that it has had a lot more organic, like, queer representation in it from the jump.
Yeah.
But
Rosie, Greg.
Yeah. Caroline's brother.
Yeah.
It goes, but it, like, is interesting because I feel like it's going hand in hand with, like, this very specific culture of, like, Italians from the tri-state area.
Yeah.
And so you do get, like,
And
these
now
kind
you
of
may kiss the bride.
moments. Yeah. It's just like talking about just like queer representation in general on like these shows. It's like very different than what we're getting with like TheValley, where like we've got like this like different kind of vibe of queer representation. But yeah.
Okay. So we got the Marcos, we got the Gorgas, we got the Cabrals, we got the Ruelises celebrating Louis' father's sobriety. I believe 10 years. I could be wrong about that. Yeah. And then we also got more crying, more tears over Gabriella Giudice.
I would like to. I actually do think that I know people are always like, Teresa should get a spinoff. I do think there's like an interesting thing with like this combination of like these two families.
Okay.
And I would actually like to see like a deep dive into it. And I'm not somebody who usually cares about like those kind of spinoffs in the Bravo world.
Yeah.
Am I being too tree huggery right now?
I mean, I love to hug. Well, okay, so I think like the same can kind of be said about the Marco Gorgas, but I like something that we have been saying Lake Curse over and over is a quote from Carlos King podcast where he said something to the effect of like, what did Melissa Gorga do in the first episode besides being gorgeous? So we just like keep saying, what did Melissa Gorga do besides being gorgeous?
Wait, Carlos King said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I loved it. Okay, so then we got like different camps meeting up before we go down the shore. We have Teresa, Jen Aiden, Danielle like doing like the butt massage or the butt shaping. We got like a Marge, Fuda, Zia, I think, playing pickleball. Maybe not Zia. I don't know who was at pickleball.
To be back in a pickleball space.
It's like enough. There's been enough drama. Okay. And then we are heading down the shore. Now, I thought this was interesting having 3 camps. We got the New Dolls. We got the Gorga, and we got the Giudice camps. And I would say like the people with the most power right now on this show are Dolores and Jen Fessler.
Yeah.
Because like everyone wants to be their friend.
The glue.
They're the glue.
Yeah. Dolores was on not Watch What Happens Live. She was on Jeff Lewis Live this week.
Of course.
And she was talking specifically about and we see it a little bit in the preview, but like the worst fight or like one of the only fights she's ever had with Marge is coming up.
Okay. Oh, it's coming up next week?
Maybe it's like in the preview when she calls her the C word.
The original preview.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like they've never been bad like that, but like.
So what did she have to say about that?
But like they're good now.
Oh, okay.
But like the thing is, whenever these people go on Jeff Lewis, they're always like paired with somebody from Bravo who like they can't say too much, so it's a lot of like teasing.
So she's paired with who?
Like somebody in PR at Bravo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who like is like you can't talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also I kind of feel like what they do is like they try to talk about things as if they're living in the time frame of that episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
It's annoying. Okay. So our first big get together is gonna be for Nate's brain surgery celebration of life from 6 years ago.
I must have missed it last season because I like did not remember this.
I don't think it was brought up last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nate also, I do want to celebrate his life. I also want to mention he's up there in like the hottest house husbands.
I knew you were gonna say something to the effect of like, I want to celebrate his life and I want to give him a kiss.
But somebody somewhere pointed out that like the way that Danielle like face tunes him.
Oh.
Like he looks good regardless of the face tune, but like she makes him look like a Ken doll when she face tunes.
Yeah.
And let's just like all think about our face tuning and like what we're doing if we're editing. I don't edit, but like let's think about that and like let's make ourselves look like us.
Okay, that reminds me. I saw a picture of Meredith Marks and Jennifer Lawrence, and I was like, "Who is that with Jennifer Lawrence? Who is that?" And then I saw a promo shot for Watch Robin's Live. Amanda and Patty Sanger are going to be on, and like to use an actual photo of Patty Sanger whenever we see still images of her, it is a work of AI art. Right? So like to actually see like what she is supposed to look like as a still image.
Yeah.
It's like you can see her like in trailers, like video form.
Yeah.
But whenever it's just like a JPEG, that is doesn't match the real person.
Exactly. And I have been somebody who has been face tuned.
You have? Oh my God. I need to learn about this
The
offline.
photo's long gone and it's like it was like with somebody you actually probably have never met, but it was like a very jarring experience to be like, that is not what I look like.
No, I need to find this. Wow. Okay. There's a lot of conversation of like, especially between like Fuda and Fessler. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, Fessler isn't right, but she is right.
She is right because she's the future.
I believe Fessler is the future. Future well, and let her lead the way.
Do you think these two women, like 3 years ago, thought that there'd be two gay people in Brooklyn being like Fuda and Fessler?
They thought. I mean, like Fessler is just like the fact that like at this party, Teresa is running up to her. Mm-hmm. The power that has. That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I did enjoy like at this party, like all these little side characters trying to get in there. Like someone's cousin or girlfriend or something. That one beautiful woman.
Yeah, that's also the power of these
Beauty?
shows.
Oh.
In Beauty. No, but it's just like one thing I'm obsessed with of like all these shows is these side characters, and I feel like it comes out in Jersey. We've always been with our sides.
Yeah. We love a side dish.
Yeah. And like I think we're also, not to bring up the Valley again, but the Valley is also very side culture.
Oh yeah. Oh, can't wait to get there. Okay. And then we're like ending it with gospel choir.
Thank God.
Which I would have never guessed for this this gang.
That is in a way Heather Gay's impact.
Yes.
Also, like
very gay.
With Heather Gay, I think it's very interesting. Like that one fucking quote that she has actually made a big impact across the Bravo
timeline screenshots.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. other housewives who like maybe wouldn't know who she is.
Oh, okay. She's made a name for herself.
Yeah. Yeah. So good for her.
I also want to, like, I don't know where this would have belonged. It's not quite Freak of the Week. It's not quite One True Queen. It's not quite news. But she was pulled on stage by Vampire Weekend because, like, a band member loves her. Yeah. And she's just, like, on stage.
I also think, like, to my point, like, her impact. I'm
sad to report I don't love the new Vampire Weekend album, however. So
what's, like, a Vampire Weekend song?
That
I would know.
Okay, A-Punk. But like, okay, it's like a song that song has been used in commercials, so you definitely know what it is. It's like, hey, hey, hey.
Maybe.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that, yeah. Was this?
But there's so many songs. They have my two favorites are Contra, that album and song actually. And then there's like another one.
I think I confuse their music. I feel like they were in the era of do you know that band Fun?
Yeah.
That Jack Antonoff came out of?
Oh, this was before Fun.
Well, one of the Fun guys was one of the guys from The Format, which I was obsessed with as a youth.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost my virginity to while the music was playing. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for Jers. Why don't we head on over to Martha?
Okay, to Martha. I just watched.
Martha, you just watched. I'm loving the gang.
It's such a good gang.
We are picking up the pieces from Bria versus Simon.
I know. And I actually like them having that conversation out on the deck, like by themselves, and her. We talked about like why what he did was shitty, but like her explanation of like going to Germany and like interacting with like his family at a family event.
Sounds like grounds for termination.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess like the counterpoint is he's willing to put up with her when she's like very wrong. Like she says like what, like he'll like take me back even if I'm like, if I do something wrong.
Yeah. And that's that's
not a great like recipe.
Yeah, exactly. But like they seem to have like ended it all in a good place, which it's not for me to judge about like their relationship. But yeah, to your point, I do think it is grounds for disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And termination.
Grounds for termination. Okay. Let's see. So we got last week. Natalie was dipping and doing with Summer shit talking her friends, and now this week she's dipping and doing with the Fun girls talking about Nick being flirty and inappropriate. And she's like, "All right, I got a job to do."
Yeah. The texting, like the transcript, like speaking of transcripts, like the transcripts that they hand over, this is a very like text heavy TV show, which I think is interesting. Yeah. And I like wonder on somebody who's like interested in the production level, I like wonder like how they do that and how they do the logistics of it.
They're like, here, give us your phones. We have to transcribe. Okay. So then we're going bike riding, and Nick and Tasia are not going because she doesn't have the appropriate clothes. So then they were like riding around on bikes, some of them very hungover, including Amir, who's like
fighting for his life, basically.
Puking in like in the parking lots. So we got that. And then we got at brunch Natalie going over to Tasia and being like, I need to tell you something.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm leaving. And Natalie's just like, okay. And then goes back and sits down.
Also, like, this is what I mean. Like, also, this is another show that has become like side character heavy, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get back to the house, and it's Nick versus the world. after his girlfriend's gone at
Yeah.
this point. It was tough.
Yeah.
It felt like everyone was just kind of like continuing the conversation that had already taken place and had finished.
Mm-hmm.
But now Natalie's hearing it for the first time. Yeah. So she's kind of like relighting the fire.
Yeah. Also, like, just with Natalie in general, when we first met her, I thought she was going to be like kind of a non-event. And now she's like so in the mix. Like, I thought, like, remember like when she first came to the house and like everyone was like kind of avoiding her?
Yeah.
And now she's like,
well, I read an interview. No, I saw a clip or read a summation of a clip that Amir only wants to do season 3 if Natalie could be full time.
interesting.
Because he's like, people in relationships, like, they would go on a trip together. Like, you're not going to like leave your girlfriend
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks to go on a trip with friends.
Yeah.
Like SummerHouse.
Exactly.
So that would be interesting.
Totally.
But I mean, like the most heated, of course, is between Bria and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Bria just like loves to get into it.
There's something special about her to me. I don't know.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it for Martha. I believe next week is the finale.
That's so sad.
But they do get the reunion.
Yeah. Oh, I was at a thing where I did see Preston in person. He was nice when I said I loved his show. And
you did say you love the show.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure you were going to like acknowledge.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Shall we go to Vanderpump Rules?
Let's go. So I watched this twice.
Oh, twice. It was so nice you had to watch it twice.
I don't know. I thought it was like a really interesting reunion.
Okay. I watched it after a long day, so I think maybe I was in the right headspace, but I was like, I don't know what the purpose of anything is.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I think it's just like we're getting at this thing with Vanderpump Rules where we are now just actively talking about what it means to film a television show.
Yeah, that's like 90% of it.
Yeah. And to me, I mean, like my favorite show that ever existed was Oprah Behind the Scenes 25th season.
Sure.
So I love this shit.
Okay. But if we're going to have the conversation of what it is to film a television show, why is Brock half on carpet, half on wood, and everyone else is on wood?
I don't know.
It was really bothering me. And then next week, like, when Allie and Joe are added, like, Brock is fully on carpet, Sheena's half on wood, half on carpet. I mean, that's what I'm walking away from this with.
Okay. That is a good point. And also, to your point, let's actually talk about the set because the set for Vanderpump Rules reunion has been like kind of consistent for a few years.
Okay.
And it just makes me think.
In what way?
It's just like a very similar setup and it looks kind of the same. But what I'm trying to get at, to go back to SummerHouse Martha's Vineyard for a second, and a complaint we've already made is that why can't we just get SummerHouseMV on the SummerHouse Hamptons set for one day?
I mean, the fact that they were filmed a day apart.
The set's already there.
It's there. Like, were they... I know Martha filmed the day before SummerHouse. Like, were they pulling an all-nighter to get regular SummerHouse ready that day?
know.
Come on.
Also, like, in the scheme of, like, what the amount of money that goes into these kind of productions, like, couches aren't that expensive. So if you need to switch out the couches, or go into the archives.
Yeah, go into the RHONJ warehouse and get a carpet from Brendan's favorite reunion and call it a day. Okay. So there's like a lot of like little things I would say.
Sure.
Here, what are you most interested in?
I was interested in Lala versus Katie, but that's at the end
We
of
can
the
talk about
episode.
that. That's fine.
I was also actually I was interested in like the amount of praise that Brock was getting for being a good dad, but we still haven't like figured out the relationship with the kids in Australia. But I do think the explanation was correct that if the kids don't want to see him, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention being a child of divorce this episode, but I can.
Somehow we're here. I mean, at least he's paid up at this point.
Yeah.
So that's something that's good. Yeah, that's that.
Just like seeing his old look in flashbacks.
Yeah, I gotta say, I like the fresh cut instead.
I know. I've been chatting with our friend Tall Pale about Brock, and I'm not trying to out Tall Pale here, but he's really into the way that Brock looks, and I've been like, but then I'm watching the reunion, and I'm like, I get it.
I mean, of the gang on stage, it's Brock.
Yeah, I will say, Schwartz looks better in this reunion than he has in a while.
Sure. But that's not the highest bar to clear.
I know.
Freaking moo rolling out of bed, disheveled. Come on.
Also, I love judging men's looks.
There's nothing better.
Yeah, nothing better.
Okay. We only dip a toe into Sheena, Summer Moon, Shay, Davies, Honey. Mm-hmm. But we touch on her OCD thing and the thoughts, the Lala Brock thoughts.
Yeah.
We touched down on that.
The thing she landed down on when each of them enter a room, their eyes light up for each other. I was like, wow.
But it does sound like they actually spend time, as a throuple, spend time together because of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, we're not able to see that on TV because Lala can't film with her daughter.
It's like how me, you, and Alex spend time as a throuple because I'm always over at your house for recording.
And your eyes light up. Yeah. Okay. Well, we try to talk about Tom and Ariana stuff, but half of it is legal, so we can't.
Yeah, and Tom really, really turning on Rachel here.
When he's like, she's a fucking bitch. It's wait, what?
Yeah.
Calm down.
And you can also just see him trying to say a few nice things about Ariana. And Ariana's not engaging, which is I think part of like her mental health struggle here.
We get a lot of classic LVP, like hating women, loving men, like taking any opportunity to like she's like making fun of Ariana and Katie like not being able to open their thing.
Yeah.
And like bickering with them over the penny situation.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like Tom's like, oh, Tom, you just need to learn from this.
Yeah. I will say about Ariana and Katie, it looks like the awning is back.
The awning's back. And they said as this airs, we're open, but not quite.
Not
next
quite.
week,
But
apparently.
Anne was behind the bar saying that she is working for them.
Okay.
So there's that. Andy was so enamored by Anne on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah. Main cast next year.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, actually.
But back to the reunion. The phone call or conversation between Lala and Katie about Ariana, I thought that Katie maneuvered that really well.
Oh. To me, it felt like she looked like the hand was caught in the cookie jar.
Maybe. Okay. So I think you're right a little bit on that. I think she was caught off guard at first, but the way that her body language with Ariana was made it seem to me that Ariana understood Katie's frustrations here.
Sure.
And Katie basically said at some point, maybe it was like on social media, that like I went to a friend and I was expressing my frustrations, but I did not want to stress out another friend and business partner. Like basically I'm venting. And like we said this actually I think in Patreon, which you should listen to our Patreon. But people do have conversations about people.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Not behind their backs, but
Well, you don't want to be unfiltered all the time.
yes, exactly.
Okay. So what else do we have? We got. Oh God. Sandoval trying to make sense of the George Floyd, O.J. Simpson thing.
And like Brock trying to help him by being like, "Oh, I don't subscribe. I just look at the headline. No one reads that." And then like Sandoval was like, "Nobody reads that." And Andy was like, "Well, I actually read the entire thing."
Yeah. Speaking of not reading,
Literally like open the schools.
open the schools. Ariana not watching this year.
Yeah.
It's Judician, one might say. And for that, we have to applaud and hug.
Also, like, God, I feel like I'm being such a. I'm like in the Katie Ariana camp.
Yeah,
which maybe that's a good place to be.
You're a little somethinger.
Yeah. But she talked about that on Watch What Happens Live when they were on together, and how like she literally like was working on a Broadway show and like doing 8 shows a week, which is difficult.
But her dream,
Yeah.
as she said. Okay. We talked about like Pump kind of taking over Tom Tom a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't really get it. I just thought that they were like had a big sign that they needed to put somewhere.
Yeah. We are talking about like Lala's relationship with Randall and his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting.
And they're really, really close.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's like mostly it.
Yeah. I do think like I'm a Lala hater, but I didn't hate her as much.
Yeah. I thought, listen, she makes good television.
Yeah.
She really does.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to her.
You really do. Do you have anything to say about James? We didn't really mention James.
Oh, I guess like the only thing with him is like there was something about, there was like a joke of like him apologizing for bringing Rachel into the group.
Yeah.
And then I guess there was like some conversation about like how quickly he got with Allie versus like Ariana getting with Dan right away.
Oh, and they had their little interaction where like he said 10 days and then they like kind of like quietly squashed their beef though.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Yeah. James, I don't know.
The only James I really like is the one with the giant peach, you know?
And those bugs.
Yeah.
He loves to hang out with.
That movie was the best.
I never saw the movie, but I read the book. Aren't there multiple movies?
But like the original like 90s one that was like
Stop
claymation or stop animation.
Yeah.
And with the aunts, that was like such an important thing. The peach looked so good. It looked good enough for Shamia to hold.
She got James's giant peach. Okay, why don't we get to TheValley?
Okay. Oh.
Which is a good show.
It is incredible.
So like the juxtaposition here and Pump is like 90% about filming a show, 10% about their lives. I would say Valley is like 75% their lives, 25% filming a show. And I kind of like that recipe a little bit more.
Yeah. And it's like, just like speaking of like couples, it's fun to watch a bunch of different couples. And then you've got like random friends who aren't coupled thrown into the mix, which really like spices it up. I think Janet is turning out to be one of our great reality TV villains.
It's Schroderian, I would say.
Wait, it's who?
Schroderian.
Oh, yeah.
She's like taking up the mantle for Stassi.
Of course, yes.
Like very diabolical.
Yeah.
Okay, at James May, which I don't know, man. Like, I really like locked eyes on the look this episode, but this is Kristen's event, and she maybe has never looked crazier.
With Wait, like the way she's dressed?
Yeah, with the oversized t-shirt, what could be a bikini bottom or underwear, I'm not sure.
And the sheer
floor length dress. It's one of the wildest looks of our time.
Yeah.
We got Zach crying, and then we got Spy spying.
And then Jasmine clocking. Okay, the fact that Jasmine is not main cast is actually crazy to me, but I get...
It's Festlerian.
Exactly. But I get that the show is like based on couples, so that it makes sense that she's not main cast, but she is...
Main cast.
Pulling her weight.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta say, pop star Simon Curtis is acting. Like, the way... Like, I don't know, it was like Zach, Jasmine... Kristen, maybe? I don't know who else they were talking. Was it Kristen or someone else? The way he's like dramatically like holding his phone, fiercely typing and like looking over and like making faces was truly insane.
Yeah, it was Zach, Brittany, Jasmine.
Oh, yes.
And I always forget that this is pop star Simon Curtis. Who was involved in the Scandival stuff too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was commenting. And who I mentioned, I went to watch him open for Sky Ferreira 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Do you think I should get some of those like pink croc things that he was wearing? I actually do think like
oh no.
In the winter I could
get a regular boot.
Well, no, I mean, like, when I'm, like, going to the, like, bodega, I like to look a little ugly.
So, like, we're choosing ugly.
Yeah, of course. Look at me right now.
We're making the choice. Okay. Well, then if you want to be ugly, get the Simon Curtis croc boot, which he says, I was like... I had to like I had to take to Twitter and like see what he's saying about all of this. Mm-hmm. Like people were like making fun of him for that. He's like, no, like I have it in every color. Like I want to look like an Animal Crossing character.
It's kind of similar to that other boot that went viral, like in the fall, like the big red thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. The way Flotsam and Jetsam were reporting back to Ursula. Simon Curtis and Jared, who I'm like surprised has like made a name for himself. I thought he was going to be like someone we hug once and never see again.
But he's there.
But he's like been
he's
in like
directing traffic.
3 or 4 episodes at this point.
Yeah, the way that like when she was on the phone with Zach and he was like, he kept on being like, hang up.
The two of them like dramatically reacting to this phone conversation, which like wasn't even that dramatic.
Yeah, I think it's... We as gay people can be like this. I also think it's fun because I feel like with our friends, maybe the straight people in our lives are the Flotsam and Jetsams and we're the Ursulas.
Oh, okay.
I'll unpack that for you off mic.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah. I wish there was a reunion.
I know.
How is there not going to be a reunion?
And pop star Simon Curtis needs to be there.
Like close us out with a performance. Okay. I gotta say, even though this is like a trip akin to like Salt Lake City's first few seasons, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And I actually, of course, like...
What do you mean comparing it to Salt Lake?
Like...
Oh, just because it's close.
Driving somewhere, like somewhere local. And, you know, we're constantly talking about like different places. Even in like Vanderpump Rules, like the house that like Lala bought, like they said the name of the Sherman Oaks. So I like had to Google that. I'm like looking where that is in relation to this. Big Bear. I'm Googling Big Bear. LA to Big Bear is under 2 hours. They're acting like they're going to like...
You not knowing where any of these places are. Not knowing what Sherman Oaks is.
I don't think that's weird.
Okay. We've also been to Big Bear. Not us physically, but like in Vanderpump Rules. In Vanderpump Rules, we've been to Big Bear.
Oh, okay. I guess I just like didn't care back then, but now I need to like know the lay of the land wherever I am.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like akin to us going like upstate or down the shore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. The house is one of the nicest houses.
Incredible.
Like the layout, the fact that like we're able to fit so many beds and it not look like sloppy jalopy.
Yeah, when they were doing like the exteriors of like the back of it with like the porch, I was like, slay. I need to like for some reason
You've
I've like
been doing that a lot in 2024.
You did it during
No.
I think you did it during our Patreon pre-show promoting that. If you want to hear Dan say slay.
Give us money. No, but I think I was doing it like in a homophobic way. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong.
Speaking of gender roles, the fact that like the women have to do one thing and the men have to do another.
That always like growing up, that always like really interested me.
Okay, well that's why like as an adult, I don't know, this probably hasn't happened to you because you're more normal than I am, but like I now in the cousin universe, I'm always assumed to be with the girls. So I'm always on like the baby shower invites, the bridal shower invites, like that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like we're like moving past that over here. But yeah, I'm celebrating you finding your clan.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Jax is so nasty to his wife.
Horrible.
The phone thing was nasty.
Yeah.
Like the way he's like grabbing the phone and like, I don't want to hear him crying. It's like, relax.
Her literally like checking on her child.
And then like her being afraid to say that she has a tummy ache in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Which is going to come up, I think, more next episode.
Yeah. And then we got Jesse like harassing Danny.
Yeah.
Bringing him to like the verge of tears.
Harassing Danny. And then also just like throwing his body at people in like a weird way.
Oh, I forgot about like his return from retreat in the beginning of episode.
Yeah.
Which it feels like that thing Louis Ruelas went to. It feels like, you know those videos you see online of like men on retreat being like screamed at?
Yeah.
And like shirtless and like on the beach?
Yeah. Also, as he was returning from retreat, he was wearing this beanie in a way that is like so Los Angeles straight man.
Yeah.
I was like, I've met this person.
I gotta say, I think he has like terrible tats, but I think he has a good head of hair on him.
I agree. I think actually, I would say most of the men have good heads. I would say,
except for gay.
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. At least he's got the hair, hopefully, and we can figure it out.
Sure. We have something to work with.
Yes. This is like the most fun show on television.
Well, I mean, we haven't watched SummerHouse yet. That's more fun.
Okay. No, but I mean, it's just like, this is like you always say.
Me?
Like TheValley and like the Vanderpump kids, you don't want to actually be friends with.
Oh,
when you're with
no.
SummerHouse, you're with your friends.
Oh, yes.
These are the people who I like to observe in...
Like you're going to the zoo.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I would say I just want to like figure out like what they're doing.
What's going through their head?
Yeah. What else? Oh, Jasmine does bring up, or maybe Janet brings it up to Jasmine first about like the spying.
Oh, yes. I love Jasmine's reenactment.
Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah. Oh, and then we end it with Jax and Michelle talking about the texting.
Jax is like, I really need to tell you something. You need to pour yourself a drink and meet me outside.
Michelle's like excited to have this conversation.
And I think like, she's like, this is my truth, I guess.
Yeah. She's standing in her truth.
Who do you think the celebrity is who we're texting with?
I don't know.
Who's the most famous person on your phone? Just kidding. Let's not answer that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for Valley, right?
I think so.
So why don't we close this out with some Summer House action?
Tumultuous ep.
Ooh. Well, we're picking up with Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle having a meltdown.
Yeah. I think like we were kind of talking in person. Like I think like maybe his thoughts aren't exactly wrong. It's just like the way he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely coming across to everyone as being like mean / not listening to Amanda.
Yeah.
But I get the POV of like, this is the business that is going to make it so that we will be okay when this show is over.
Mm-hmm. I just like, I cannot deal with somebody personally who, when they're like confronted with like a little bit of criticism, they just like decide to lash out and go like lower, which feels like what Kyle was doing this episode and what Carl was doing this episode as well.
Yeah.
I just was like, where are our Pampers? These like adult babies.
Where are our Pampers? They need like the adult size, the Rena size.
Yeah, depends, I think, is what the brand is.
It was Danielle and Carl supporting Kyle during the meltdown, and he goes in the car.
He just like goes and sits in his car and is like crying.
But then we go out.
So wild.
Like it felt like Kyle was like drunker, and then the frustration like sobered him up a little bit, but he was still very drunk. Mm-hmm. And then we're going out, and Danielle never misses a night.
Never misses a night. Also, just like it's like one of those like I guess kind of marathon days of like drinking where it's like everything. That's why it turned. It felt like everyone was like fighting by like 9 p.m. And like to me, I'm like let's get to bed. But they went out and had a blast, I guess.
Lindsay was mothering. She was like the one cooking everyone like drunk people food.
I know, and mother being in bed with like the rest of the bed girls. I like to see.
I know. They did talk about it the next day at the pool. Like, this is the first year all the girls are getting along.
I know. Are you able to have buffalo chicken dip?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably not. I'm sure there's like a cheese component. Oh, I mean, it's probably fake cheese, I guess.
Maybe. That is one of the best things to ever come across at a party.
I'm just like not seeking it out, but the Allison Roman buffalo chicken wing grilled recipe is a banger. So I'm like scratching an itch there at least.
I also love a buffalo like Caesar moment, like those flavor combinations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anchovies in there.
It's like think of a chicken Caesar wrap, but the chicken is buffalo.
Oh, okay. I'm getting it.
You're kind of getting there. Yeah.
I don't get it. Okay.
Oh, other news that we didn't talk about is like it apparently is everyone versus Giselle in the current filming of Potomac. Which, hello.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, two sisters, West and Jesse.
I could cry.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry. I think they had a lot of like powerful moments during this like week that like made me feel good, and also like it kind of like proves that the Summer House casting associates got it right.
They got it right
with men for the first time in a long time.
For the first time in forever. Yeah, that's good.
Also, Jesse's mom.
She's got it going on.
She is like appearance-wise in the vein of what we've been speaking about, of like for some reason a lot of the women who are parents or elders of the Summer House crew kind of are, I guess, like variants of Bunny Mob.
Yeah. This one isn't as hard as a Bunny Mob. This is more of a rabbit mob.
This is like a junior mob.
It's a junior mob.
Yeah.
I mean, like Carl and Lindsay. See, the thing is like, there's team no one. It's team actually both of you. Like, it's so good you didn't get married.
Yeah. It's team no one, but just like the way that like Carl is like, he's being like sniveling and like being like, he's being like mean to be mean.
They're both mean.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's maybe more jarring to see Carl as mean because like that's not like the persona. Like
Sure,
Lindsay
yeah.
is the like activated
Yeah,
persona.
no, you're making the exact right point. Yeah, that is the exact thing. It is jarring because we're used to Lindsay being
Like
intense.
it's nothing new with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if anything, like I see her argument there. It's like, well, you want me to be this soft, beat, bap, 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 bap. It's like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Lindsay and Sierra yelling at Carl the next day. I see their points and them sticking up for their friend, and I do think like that. The end result was it did help their friend.
Oh, you mean Paige and Sierra yelling at Kyle?
Oh, yeah. Paige and Sierra yelling at Kyle. I think we landed in a good spot with that happening.
And I think they're close enough friends where it's like they can actually come at it in a unique way where they're like, we just yelled at your boyfriend and it did end up working out.
I did understand, like, I know it's going to be probably an unpopular opinion and I'm going to sound like a Kyle stan, but I did feel like it was a little bit of an oversimplification of the situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Kyle fan? I had no idea.
Am I a Kyle fan?
I'm surprised you like haven't grown out a mullet.
So, sometimes when I'm feeling lazy and the haircut needs to be haircutting, I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump.
I know this is like some like dumb gay cliche, but like I actually like once I get a haircut, I'm like, wow,
Powerful.
This is good, and I feel better about myself.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing more powerful than a gay right after he got his haircut.
I'm not going there.
It's kind of crazy that this episode was only half a weekend and like a weekday or two, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
And like the Sunday too. Usually Sunday we're just kind of like packing up and leaving. Speaking of packing up and leaving, Carl racing out of the driveway before Lindsay could put that luggage in there.
So
like, again, this is like where no one's right here in my eyes. I think Carl's not right, obviously, for like speeding out of there. But like, if I'm Lindsay, right? Mm-hmm. And we are clearly like kind of in the midst of a fight that is motivating me to go hang out with my girls rather than be with you. It is a little bit like, okay, well, like, fuck you. I need to go have alone time, but like, valet, please take my bags.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're saying it's bad that she
Well, it's like, she's like, well, you're obviously going to take my bags. Mm-hmm. That's like, if there was no fight and like a plan a week ago was for her to go hang out with the girls and he wasn't going to go, like, obviously he's going to take the bags. Like,
yeah.
Like, of course, but like, it's a little rich to be like in the midst of a fight and like wanting this service.
Agree on that extent.
Yeah.
Totally.
I hope I'm not like sounding like I'm rooting for the bad people.
No, you aren't. I just think it's a really complicated situation. And like what you said, I think it gets to the exact point. It's like you're rooting for
everybody.
You're rooting for this relationship to break up because they should not be together.
Yeah. It's like, oh, thank God we didn't. Like, if they ended up getting married, I'd be like yelling at the screen against both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have like imagine watching the season and the season ending with them getting actually married.
Yeah.
It would be so bonkers.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So you're not rooting for the bad people. The reason I choose to root for West and Jesse Solomon and Paige.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to say anything about West and Sierra's date?
I think the speed they're moving is okay. I think that like him voicing that he's like talking still to like I guess people he's been in contact or flirting with is a little weird to say on a TV show like this, right?
Well, yes, but he already kind of said that
to
other people, so he can't say something different to her.
Exactly, but I don't think that's necessarily bad, but I do think some people will like find it like a jarring thing to hear.
Sure.
But that's life, baby.
That's life, baby.
Before you get on your knee or whatever, anything can happen.
And I do understand her frustration with him saying, well, like, I need to figure my shit out. But, like, he literally just got the job offer.
Yeah, he was, like, unemployed and trying to figure out a working situation for a long time, which can bring a lot of stress into your life.
Yeah.
And so, like, he was focusing on that, got that, and then, like, now trying to figure this out. I do think, like, I will say, when they were in the car talking to Jesse Solomon, I was like, I can see these people as actual partners because it felt right to me.
All natural?
Yeah. I mean, like, if it's not going to be me with Wes, then it should be Sierra.
I think he said this in a prior episode, but then, like, we were seeing it play out. And, like, I used to have this mindset so hardcore, like, when I was dating. It's like, dating's, like, stressful if you are taking it seriously, because you're either going to eventually break up with that person or potentially marry them. And like both are scary things to do.
Yeah. It's so wild that like God decided that.
God, like, why do you decide that?
You either got to break up or get married.
well, I mean, like, okay, you don't have to get married, but like you either are going to break up or stay with this person.
Or be in a serious situation with them for the rest of your life is what you're saying.
Yeah. So that like, so I would like frequently end relationships, or they would end on me, like within the first few months. Cause I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And
then the Jesse stuff is like scary. And it's so interesting watching like his mom have to deal with it on camera and that type of stuff.
Sure.
I do think that like I said, I think he and West have like an actually like good relationship where like a friendship where they're supporting each other, which is great.
And they met each other this year on this show.
Yeah.
Wow. So finale's in 2 weeks. Preview was really solely on Carl and Lindsay for the most part.
We have another theme party next week.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Mad Max-esque.
Oh, did you ever see that?
No.
I did see that in theaters in Chicago.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that, I mean, that's looking intense. Carl's looking real intense. I'm scared. Okay.
Me too.
Let's get to the Freak of the Week of the One True Queen.
Okay.
Freak of the Week this week is one Sai from RHONJ. And this is coming out of your neck of the woods over on Jeff Lewis Live.
Yeah, so Jeff Lewis, he frequently like comes to New York and does a few episodes. He has his like faves, and like he usually taps like Sai's actually like one of his faves to tap now. Dolores is a fave. Margaret's a fave.
Okay.
So Sai was talking to Nicole Ryan, who is another SiriusXM host.
Okay. So it's hard to parse. Oh, so explain this. So we go to commercial.
And they keep filming. So, okay, this show, like a lot of shows now, exists both in audio and video.
Okay.
I never watch the video, but I guess more content happens between like what actually airs on the radio.
Okay, because you're getting a commercial, and if you're watching the video, you're just getting all the video.
Yeah, and I believe the producers do tell them many times that like this is all being recorded, and in the video you hear this guy Jameson, who's longtime producer of this show, like chime in, being like, just a reminder, this is being recorded.
Okay, so the woman who you described before asks like, oh, so you're filming right now, how's it going, how's the new girl, how's everybody? So like it's actually hard to pin down what Sai is referring to during some of it. She says the new girl is like, she takes a pause, like she's nice, but she's maybe too nice for the show. And then she says it's boring, but like, is filming boring, or is it's boring referring to Rebecca?
I think like,
is her being nice, is that the it?
Yeah, the way I viewed it is that filming with Rebecca Minkoff is potentially boring, and that people are asking her questions and she's too nice to like answer.
Yeah. There was something funny in the aftermath of this of like, I guess like someone tagged Rebecca Minkoff, and like they like the person, I guess she like did a crying laughing response or something. And then the person said like, oh, like you got to gather her or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca was like, what's gather her? It's like, oh yeah.
Also, it's just like the way that like we all talk online, right? is wild.
Rebecca, I don't know, man.
No, but I think like this is the freak. I actually think Sai could potentially have a great
You keep hoping and wishing and praying.
sophomore season, but we'll see.
You're planting the seeds.
Yeah, but we all know that I'm always
not a good gardener.
I'm always wrong with who I stand. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Our one true queen this week. Oh my God. Fresh off of securing her diamond, Kyle Richards versus the Rat.
I had not seen this until literally like Dan is sitting next to me on my couch, like showing me this video.
Yeah. So I have not seen fear like this. Like Kyle Richards was less afraid of Michael Myers and more afraid of the mouse.
And like it actually is maybe the most adorable rat I've ever seen.
Okay. I do think like, okay, so part of the fear is like the fear of it coming in, and she even describes like her foot's like away from the pedal because she's afraid like
It'll come through.
It's an entry point. But then also the other fear is she can't back up because it will like open the side view mirrors and potentially crush the rat into the car.
So like Kyle's like kind of being like an animal rights activist
Kind
here,
of.
but also just like freaking out over like literally like in the rat, just like the way it keeps on moving and the way Kyle's filming it. It's like it's looking into our souls at some points, and then at other points it literally is like a cartoon character.
And the fact that this isn't found footage. Like Kyle's filming through the fear. Really putting like Blair Witch to shame.
And then the other thing that I like looked at, it's like Kyle's raking in 18,000 comments on this rat video, including like Katie Couric checking in to see how this went.
It's like a news item for Katie. I mean, it was. I do think it ended up on the news.
I did see it was on the news.
Kyle Richards versus Rat on the news. Wow.
But like, as somebody who lives in New York City and I walk around a lot, I see a lot of rats that are not as adorable.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think that was. This could have been like a mouse, maybe.
Yeah, I also think like
I'm always tough on the distinction.
the upbringing for like an LA rat is different than the New York rat.
It's a harder life here. Yeah. Wow. Well, I think that's it for us rats here. Wow, what a week. We do have some fun Patreon content. We have the pre-show. We have a vintage recap of Gone with the Wind Fabulous. I think we mentioned earlier in this episode, we are taking next week off because summer should be fun. It's Memorial Day weekend kickoff, baby. But we'll drop something in the feed, maybe like a vintage Patreon episode. We'll do that there. Head on over to comethroughqueen.com for links to everything, including the Patreon, including social, and just like, comment, subscribe, heart, share, retweet.
Love us, please retweet.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.